Welcome, listeners. Today on Don't Believe These Stories, I have a story that takes place in the year 2000. During this year, I was pregnant with my daughter, and we had a neighbor who had moved in next door a couple of months before. I didn't really get to know this neighbor very well, just saying hi and bye every so often. Initially, everything seemed okay until winter came. This was when we started to notice that there were dog poop in the snow just in front of our house. We had lived in the house for a few years and had never had an issue with dog poop being left in front of our house. In fact, quite a few of our neighbors had dogs, and there was never an issue until this new neighbor moved in. Whether this was the right or wrong thing to do, I did make the assumption that this was happening as a result of our new neighbor, who also happened to have a dog. Now, operating under this assumption, I went to our next door neighbor's home to try and get this issue dealt with. When the neighbor opened the door, I let him know that I had been seeing dog poop in front of our home, and I thought that it might have been their dog, and I was asking that they address the issue with their dog. Now, it appears that this neighbor was insulted that I had come to speak to him about their dog and practically slammed the door in my face. As I did not want this issue to escalate any further, I did not pursue it anymore with our neighbor. But unfortunately, we still had to deal with the dog poop that continued even after going to speak to my neighbor about it. Given that we did not have any actual proof as to which dog could have been leaving their poop in front of our yard, my husband and I decided that we would just have to clean up the mess ourselves. This was not very easy to do, as there is a bylaw in our area that says that if your dog poops, you must scoop it up. So, knowing that this really shouldn't be happening, it irritated us a bit, but we decided, you know what? We will just clean it up and not cause any fuss. So, I would clean it. We would actually take turns. Sometimes I would clean it up, sometimes my husband would clean it up. If I got frustrated, he would clean it up. If he got frustrated, I would clean it up. But eventually we just decided that one of us would just have to clean it up ourselves. Now, one night after being really frustrated with cleaning up dog poop that was not ours, especially since we did not have a dog or any other type of animal, I was frustrated and sitting in my living room and just saying, this has just got to be dealt with. After a while of trying to figure out what to do about the situation, I decided I was just going to pray about it and ask God for help. In this prayer, I asked God to please reveal which dog in the neighborhood was doing this and to resolve the situation. The reason why I said this prayer was because I did not want to unfairly blame a dog that was not the culprit. We did have a neighborhood of dogs, so it could have been any dog. But like I said, we had lived in the neighborhood for a few years. There were always dogs in the neighborhood, but there was never an issue until this particular neighbor came to live next door. So I said the prayer and just let it go after that. We still had to, my husband and I, we still had to continue cleaning up dog poop for a bit, but something happened on this particular day. On this particular day, I had taken a nap, and when I woke up, I went to the front of the house, near the front door. For some reason, at that time, I happened to look out the window. And lo and behold, when I looked out the window, I saw the neighbor's dog. But not only did I see the neighbor's dog, this dog was in the middle of taking a poop right near the front door. I opened the front door to see if I could try and prevent the dog from doing his business by the front door, but it was too late. However, when I opened the door, I looked just to the right, and who do you think it was? My neighbor. He's standing right out there by his car, and I look at him. He sees me, and I look at his dog. Then I look back at him, and I look at his dog. And in that moment, I realized, and he realized, that it was his dog doing his business in front of our yard. I then thought back to the prayer that I had about revelation and resolution. And I thought, wow, it's actually been revealed which dog was doing his business in front of our yard. Since this was a two-part prayer, I now felt that this would be the time to resolve it. Now, when I went to the front door, I wasn't dressed properly. I was still in house clothes. So I said, okay, let me just go upstairs and change so that I can now come back and resolve this situation. I went upstairs to my bedroom to get some clothes to change into, and I saw my husband. I told him that I finally knew which dog it was that was taking a poop in our front yard and that it was a neighbor's dog. Then I told him about the prayer that I had about revelation and resolution. I'd prayed to God to please reveal which dog that was doing this and to resolve the situation. As I was about to change, my husband says, "Don't go outside." And I said, "What do you mean, don't go outside? I now have to deal with this situation." And then he said to me, "So your prayer was about revelation and resolution?" And I said, "Yes." And he said to me, "Well, if you ask God for a revelation and resolution, and he actually revealed it to you, then that means God himself will resolve the situation." And I thought about what he said. And because of my belief in God, I said, yes, that makes sense. I did ask God for a two-part prayer. Not only did I ask for him to reveal which dog that it was, I did ask him to resolve it. So my husband said, "No, you can't go outside. God does not answer a prayer halfway. If you prayed to God and it ended up that you got that revelation, rest assured, God will resolve it himself." Now, I was a little bit concerned that this situation would not be resolved without my intervention, but I also saw the spiritual significance of what he said. So, instead of going out to resolve this situation myself, my husband and I decided to go for a drive. We took our son and we went for a drive. Now, I'm thinking in my head, really, how is this going to be resolved if I don't resolve it? But I decided to have some faith in this situation. So we went for a drive. We came back home. So as I was at this time, I actually had the child, had my daughter, when this revelation came about, and was on maternity leave at the time. So one day I was looking out and I was saying to myself, I hadn't seen the neighbor or the neighbor's dog all week. And there was actually not an incident of any dog poop being left in the front yard. So I thought that was pretty interesting because this dog poop situation would occur fairly regularly. But a week had gone by and nothing had happened. On this particular Saturday, about 1 week from the date of the revelation, I noticed that there was a moving truck in front of our neighbor's house. And it appears that someone was moving out of the house. It appears that the wife or the partner, the husband's, the man's partner, had actually moved out of the house. And would you believe it? She took the dog with her. And shortly after the female partner moved out of the house, the gentleman who lived in the house also moved out, and it appears that they abandoned the house. I don't know how, I don't know why, but within 1 week from the situation of the dog being revealed as to which dog was the culprit, the neighbors moved out of their house, taking their dog with them, and the situation with the dog was resolved. So there you have it, folks. This is an instance where prayer for revelation and resolution actually came true. The culprit was revealed, and it was our neighbor's dog, and the situation was resolved without my intervention by the couple eventually moving out of that house, never to be seen again. So, folks, thank you for listening to Don't Believe These Stories. Thank you.